Just to give you a little bit of an overview, there are 307 member companies, as Sarah Jane pointed out in the introduction. I'd like to point out to you that those aren't just every company across the broad spectrum of every aspect of life. If you are a member of the Virginia Ship Repair Association, you have to have a direct tie or a direct thread into this industry, meaning that if you're a lawyer, you're an insurance agent, you're a banker, you've got to be financing someone in our industry who is actually doing it. If you are a subcontractor or a contractor, you are out there supporting the major ship repairers, and you're also doing, the Lord's work in regards to keeping our ships modernized in regards to that community. And then with regards to that, we've also got those that can fix ships completely and are blessed to do that, but they may not possess the facilities. We refer to those as ship repairers. And then we have five, what I would call what we refer to as MSRs, which are major ship repairers. So if you think about it, those five at the top of the pyramid are supported by many, many, many other companies across the spectrum, and also the suppliers that exist out there that provide the materials and stuff. VSRA didn't just, as we would say in the Navy, come in on the 4 to 8 watch. We've been around a long time. We've got a 41-year history and quite a legacy. And I will tell you that based on where we were and where we're going, I think we've got quite a future. Our main tenets of what our missions are, as you can see there, one, making sure people know, and that's what I'm talking to you about today, is in being aware of just how appreciative we as a region in Hampton Roads should be of who we are and what we are. We act as a kind of an umbilical cord between the United States Navy here locally, as well as nationally, and between our industry members of those 370 member companies that are there. Our two tenets, and we'll get into this a little bit later on, of what we were founded upon and what is our bedrock, are the next two things that you see there, which is workforce recruitment, getting people into our industry, and then having career paths and putting career paths in position so that we've got a development process for those people to continue to develop those trades and technical skills and certifications. And then lastly, I would tell you that the other big strength is our communication and the internal discussions that we have among our members. I call them competimates and frenemies. They know what the levels are in regards to where they get to the competitive level, but there are many things that we do together. I will tell you, you will not likely find an industry that is as tight knit and is as close as this one is. So I feel very blessed in regards to being able to be the president of the association and get up every day. It's easy to represent a group of people who I call them the 4 Ps. They're proud, they're passionate, they're patriotic, and they're productive. That makes it real easy for me and the staff to do that. Go to the next slide, if you will, Amasa, please. I point this slide out to you that, if you think that ship repair in Hampton Roads is not impactful, and I'll give you the economic figures here in the next slide, but, as I said, we've got 370 member companies. When back in 2012, when I assumed the job and role of president, we had 213 member companies. That grew beyond 250, and then in 2016, the bottom fell out of everything with regards to the stability of what we've got. And we had one ship for probably 3 or 4 months. It was the only ship that was in any of the shipyards, and that caused a real downturn in regards to furloughing and laying off people that were out there doing the Lord's work with regards to keeping our Navy maintained and modernized. Since that time, as you know, because of the defense spending, the increases in the defense budget, I would say the circling back up of the Navy needs more ships, and the Navy needs to make sure it's maintaining its ships. You can see our current membership. And again, those last 3 bullets that you see there, they're all a product of that. And then the bumper sticker down at the bottom that you see on the slide, we work very closely with our partners, and I'll talk about those partners and who they are. And what we're attempting to do is we're not the one all, do all, catch all. It is through partnerships and synergies of working together. And I'll talk about some of those that are in existence out there as we move forward, so that we get in place the workforce development and training initiatives that are needed out there in today's workforce by our industry to do the work that they need to do.
Great.
The numbers that are here on this slide are the They're from 2015, so they are a little bit old. They are a little bit dated. We are supposed to be getting new MIRAD figures sometime here over the next few months. But even if you look at these numbers that are on your slide, you can see that we draw a deep draft in regards to what we do here in Virginia's economy of what we are, and you can see the number of folks that are out there that are actually doing it every day, from across the spectrum of those people that I said were the members. And then our payroll and benefits is for those people that are shop level and below, and that is about 2.3 billion. And back in 2015, as you see, that $81,000. That's not your executives. That's not your people that are in the cubicles doing the designing and the engineering and the billing and the ordering of supplies. That's your shop level people and below that are out there providing that productivity and production in regards to keeping our maritime fleet at its maximum readiness. Next slide. I only show you this because, as I told you, we have 5 major ship repairers, and they're the first 5 that are listed on that slide. We have 3 other ship repairers, being Technical Alliance Shipyard and QED Systems, that exist, that are out there, that can they can go down to the base, and they also do a lot of support work across the region to the commercial fleet, as well as the United States Navy and Coast Guard and Maritime Administration ships, and also the MSC, Military Sealift Command. And then the last 2 companies that you see there, one of those is a supplier, and the other one is a subcontractor that is out there that supports it. So we have a 15-member board, and they keep this association on a pretty steady course with very few rudder corrections. And I will tell you, I'm very blessed to have one heck of a board of directors. Next slide. I will tell you that as I mentioned, one of our missions is the industry communications that we have. We have a very strong committee structure. You can see the 7 that exist there. They meet on a monthly or a bi-monthly basis. And in regards to those committees, that is where the great value comes to our members, in the fact of they stay on top step with being able to exchange information and do things that they would need to do. And I'd like to point out something that I was very, very proud of. When we first hit the COVID, things back in March, and we were beginning to figure out what's going to happen here. And your shipbuilding, ship repair industry in the manufacturing world was deemed essential, which meant they had to come to work every day. Okay. Because of their patriotism and because of their productivity and because of their wanting to get after it and continuing to work, our companies all came together, and we, as the association, sponsored a platform. But our companies came together and were able to provide on that platform their best practices, and also places that they could go during that period where supplies were very short in regards to personal protective equipment and those sort of things. And we were really the first. And I'm not doing anything except bragging on the workforce that's out there. But that's the kind of people that you've got. Okay. And when you talk about them, remember one thing: they're national security assets, because they fix those ships. Okay. Whether it be commercial maritime, whether it be the other groups that I talked about, or the United States Navy, but they fix them, and without them, this country would really be in the hurt locker. Okay. In regards to its readiness. So that being said, those are our committees. And they are very strong, very vibrant, and have great attendance, even though we've been having to do it virtually. The Virginia Ship Repair Association has an entity that is really its workforce development arm, and that workforce development arm is called the Virginia Ship Repair Foundation. And they support our workforce development initiatives. They work very closely with our partners. As a matter of fact, ex officio members of that board are from the Tidewater Community College system, or from the VCCS, being Paul DeCamp, Thomas Nelson, and Tidewater Community College, as well as the Hampton Roads Workforce Council. And we do that, and that has been extremely beneficial, and has paid enormous dividends in regards to what we're doing out there. So Workforce development will always, it will always be our foundation. It will always be our bedrock, and it will always be the thing that we are looking to do. Anyone who's in a trade and technical certification, we've got to get back to that as a country because we've lost it. And much of that has migrated overseas. And those skills don't just come overnight. Those are skills that are honed in on and made better and better and better through the repetitions of you continuing to do your skill as you move through it. Apprenticeships, they don't just happen overnight. There's intense, in many cases, as is a college academic education in a 4-year institution. There are several initiatives, as you said. How do you reach out and get to people? We have a Lego competition that we sponsor in the spring that's actually held over at your husband's museum. Okay.
That's right.
Nauticus, and it is attended. I think we were supposed to do it last year, and I think we had 29 schools. And so we get schools, middle schools from across the region that come in, and they actually are exposed to building through CAD, which is kind of gets into the STEM realm. But it enlightens and opens their eyes to maybe see what ship repair is, what it does, and to maybe appreciate it, and maybe in some ways do that. We also have outreach beyond here, is that we go out to the western parts of the state. We've got some school systems that we're partnered with. We actually bus them in every other year for their high school students to come out here to see what we've got in ship repair. And I'll part one story to you very quickly. Is the good part about that is that we had at Buckingham County, they came out, and they come out every other year. Well, they came out a couple of years ago, and 5 of the 55 students that came out here, 5 of them didn't want to go home. They wanted to stay here. Okay. And they wanted to become welders. As a matter of fact, 3 of them did come back and were tested and were accepted into being hired by some of our companies out there. So, and then the last thing that you talk about is we've got one heck of a potential workforce being those that are in the service, because we've got a huge military contingent here. We're also working and are actually one of the partners in one of the Skill Bridge, which is an internship that the Navy is putting into place. We're one of their tenants and one of those that supports that through our companies that are out there, because it's a great program. So many tentacles that are going out in regards to trying to make sure that we continue to grow our workforce. Most of these I've talked to you about. Okay. The second one there, though, is something that if you all are out there and you have the ability, one thing that scares the heck out of Bill Crow is that industry capacity. As I said, we've got an enormous capacity here. There's a difference in capacity and capability. We will always have a capability, but that capacity, as I told you, it can be like a rubber band. Since I've been in this job, we have received 1 aircraft carrier and 1 submarine in this port. We have lost numerous through decommissionings and being pulled out of here to go to other places, Rota, Spain, down to Mayport, Florida, to the Persian Gulf. We've lost many conventional fossil fuel burning ships. That scares me, because it doesn't scare me from the fact of, one, we need to repopulate Hampton Roads with regards to ships in the United States Navy. It's a great place to live. It's a very low cost of living with regards to here, and some of those new ships that we are bringing online, we need to, and that is another one of our efforts to make sure that our congressional delegation understands that. We talked about the other ones that are there. The other one that's down there, that's something that's on our scope now that we're paying close attention to, because it will be a hand in glove fit, is the offshore wind development that we talked about. And we've already talked about the cybersecurity and making sure that that's protected. And then, of course, we've pretty well, I think, beaten to death of workforce recruitment and development that's out there. I would like to take the next slide just to show you, when you talk about the training that we have, these are the initiatives, and many of these are partnerships. We have in place what is called Marine Trade Training. That is not a go to and be an apprentice and enroll in an apprenticeship program for 3 years. That is go get 3 weeks, 2 weeks to 3 weeks, totally immersed in one of those disciplines that you see there: welding, pipe fitting, sheet metal, electrical, and those sort of things. You can see that has come online, and since it's come online, the number of people that we put through it. The thing that I would like to point out to you is it has been drawn by the state as being a real success story. And they were the ones who gave us the seed money to start it. And a lot of that and the success, as you can see, is it's a 90% retention rate. You're not going to find that in almost anything that you would do. So what's being done there with that program is great. We have it now in place for those disciplines, but it's only at a level one. We need to get, and this is where I was talking about the career paths, get level two, level three, level four, level five, whatever it would be to complete that whole apprenticeship program, so that you're taking workers, they get immersed for 3 weeks, they come back to work and produce, and they're actually in shops providing production. Then they go back and they spool themselves up a little bit more, and they continue to do that. The other thing that we do here at Virginia Ship, and those Marine Trade Training Program, that is a true partnership between us, the community college system, Virginia Community College System, and the Hampton Roads Workforce Council. And we work with those two entities, one for the community college to provide that training, the other one in regards to the state. They've got many programs that end up reducing cost. And our companies want to reduce cost as much as they can. And that allows them to do that so that we don't have to pass that price tag along to the taxpayer. Okay, if you understand it, they don't, because everything that they do is done under a firm fixed price bidding type of environment. So classroom training, as you see there, we don't get into the trades and technical certifications. We leave that up to our partners. And it's not just necessarily the community college system. There are many other private institutions that are out there that we're also partnered with. Okay, Tidewater Tech is one of those that's been a very big supporter of what we're doing, and we've been a big supporter of theirs. Just as one, there are many that are out there. Classroom training, as you see, but that classroom training is stuff we do here in our own spaces. We've got 240-man classrooms that we do training. Of those courses that you see there. And when you see those courses that are there, those are courses that are mandated and are very specific and very specialized in regards to the United States Navy. So as you see, the number of classes that we've held, again, a little bit of a downturn in 2020 just because of the pandemic. But the other thing that we have, which is of enormous value to our members, is the online training. We do safety orientation for the entire port. People take our safety orientation, they're blessed, that goes into a database, and all of our companies that are members have the ability to say that they've been trained, and they can go verify that. Lockout, tag out in regards to machinery and equipment, as you see there. Hot work and how to do hot work permits is another one, and then breathe air for blasters of people who are blasting off paint and then putting it back to coat it. You can see the numbers that are trained. They're huge numbers, and that is really a huge return on investment, because people can do our training once and they're done. They don't have to go to each entity and each of our member companies and then go through that training and sit through wasted time. They go through their gates, they're verified that they've had this, and they go right to work. So and again, saving time and saving money. That being said, I think I'm on my last slide here. I would please, if you take two things out of this, appreciate what you got, because here in Hampton Roads, what you've got in regards to ship repair and ship building, I mean, this is the only place in the world that can build nuclear aircraft carriers. Okay, over at Newport News, it's one of two places that could build our nuclear submarines, which is here, and of course, EB up north, and then between those repair yards that repair our conventional surface ships. That's huge. Okay, you've got quite a national security asset right here in your backyard. So when you drive across the Berkeley Bridge, if nothing else, have a little bit of or you're over in Newport News and you see the big Newport News crane, have a huge appreciation for what we do in this region, because you've got a huge portion of a national security asset that exists here, and that's what I preach to our folks. And as I've said, stress that capacity. If you have the ability to voice or any ability to make sure, strive to get more ships back here in Hampton Roads, because we need that continued stable and increasing workload so that we continue to grow our capacity for the security of this country.